I realized that I was chasing this pathway that wasn't true to me as a person or true to anything really. I was falling into a trap of trying to be successful in the way that society tells people that they're successful. Instead of just creating art that feels good or is right for me to create. And I lost sight of what being an artist really is.
So, who are you? What do you do?
Oh man, uh, I'm just a guy. I was a commercial photographer. I worked in advertising. I started out just like a young, excited guy in my 20s, photographing bands and art scenes and, just really stoked about the medium of photography. After a while, I was chasing the money and the success and started working in advertising and trying to get hired for bigger and bigger jobs, which I did. And I got to solid mid-level advertising career photographer and had some big jobs and stuff. But the further I got into it, the more that industry really wore me down. And the culture of it is pretty gnarly, and it's promoting and selling stuff that nobody needs. It's just kind of like a sour space, and the further I got into it, the worse I felt. For me, it all kind of came to this end where an agency was using my work improperly, and I filed a lawsuit against them. It went on for a couple of years, and it went all the way to a jury trial, which is just like totally crazy. And it was a hung jury, which just means like no conclusion. The argument that they were using wasn't that they used the work improperly or that it wasn't inappropriate. They just were trying to argue that my work had no value. They could have just used any other pictures, even though they came to me asking to use my work. I was still in my 20s. I turned 30 when that trial ended, and I sold everything. I sold all my gear. I had a little studio. I shut it down. I quit. I decided to do a little shift with my photography stuff, and I just threw away all the business of it, and I tried to focus back on the art of it. I was focused in on a style of photography that's called wet plate photography or daguerreotype. That's the kind of photography I always wanted to do, but the equipment is expensive. It's a really hard process. There's a lot of steps. There's a lot of chemicals that you need. That style of photography is the very beginning of the medium itself. The first image ever created was created on a wet plate piece of glass. And so I wanted to go back to the roots of photography itself. One of my most inspired photographers, he sold me his own equipment, which was totally amazing that that was possible. This is one of the books from the famous photographers I reached out to whose equipment I got to be able to make my wet plate work with. And this is one of his images. This is one of the plastic inserts that you put in the camera that the piece of glass fits into. And so you take your piece of glass and you put it in here, you expose it, and then you develop it, and then you get your final piece of art. So this is an image that I took on a black piece of glass. And what's cool is you can see in the corners, there's these check marks that show up on the images, and they show up because of the plastic insert that's in the camera. His images and my images have the exact same physical imprint. His work and my work are literally connected through the shared physicalness of the equipment itself. I started being an artist again and having fun with it, and I had a goal in mind that I wanted to do something in that style that nobody has ever done before. I wanted to take these glass plates that are always like black and white or kind of like sepia tone color, and I wanted to figure out a way to add color to these plates. I've never seen anyone do that before, and I didn't know if it was possible, but I had some ideas about how I was going to approach it. So I spent time to figure out how to do the chemicals and make the glass plates to the standard traditions of this style. So that was step one. But then my vision, my higher goal was I had to kind of invent something totally different. And that's where we got to these colored plates. But it was a big trial and error process. So like a lot of these initial plates, the chemical interaction between the traditional black and white plates and adding color would make it so that the images would actually not work. And I spent a long time trying to do that. With digital stuff and Photoshop, you can do whatever you want. But it's not Photoshop and it's not computers, it's not even digital. It's an analog innovation. When I decided to quit doing photography, I was like, you know what? I want to do something in photography that not anyone has ever done. Because that's the coolest thing you can do, is to do something that literally no one has ever done. And I fucking did it. Like I did it. Like I actually did it. And then I just put it all in a box and never did anything with it because I immediately ran out of money. I haven't taken a picture with a real camera since then. I own a small little landscaping company, and it's just me and a couple other guys. I enjoy what I do now. It's a decent job. I make enough money to pay my bills and stuff, but it keeps me going. Working with plants is really cool. Getting to see things grow and flower, and, you know, just all of the kind of awesome things about nature and plants and gardening. Even though it's my job, I garden for fun. I really like growing vegetables. Being able to eat food that I actually grow for myself is pretty cool. I like to get out in nature and go explore and be outside even when I'm not working. I never made it. Nobody knows who I am. Never really made any money out of it. Never won any awards. I just gave it a go over the years, but that's not what sustains me in the way that society thinks artists are successful. That's what a failed artist is, you know, someone that gives up, and in a certain way, because you feel like you have to, you know? So, yeah.
What if I told you there was a community that would really respect your art and really respect your story?
Okay.
What would that mean to you?
I got it.
Now you're in trouble. Okay, I'm gonna take your picture now.
Cut down too quick. I didn't have the camera. Okay, Dad.
There we go.
All right. Would you like a scarf?
When I was growing up, I spent a huge amount of time alone in my own imaginary world. When I was born until I was 5, we lived on a farm. We had sheepdogs, and my parents would put me out into the yard with the dogs to babysit me. So if I would like walk too close to the road or something, the sheepdogs would herd me in.
Okay, now throw it for him.
In that time, all I was doing was just playing with sticks and drawing in the sand. It's like the most pure experience is being a child and being allowed to like play and create. There's nothing more pure than that.
First fish of the day, huh? Striped ones, right? I don't know, what do you think? You're gonna get them today? How big? That big? That's pretty big. About 1.5 feet of water. Just right off the shore. Okay. Yeah, all right.
I can move my energy back and forth between the real responsibilities of adulthood that I have into the playful mind frame that I had as a child. Because I remember what it was like to be a kid. The way that I think about currency is that it's not so much about the individual physical pieces of dollars and cents. Money is more like a river than anything else. During the course of your life, you will be sitting at the bank of a river. At some points, that river will be flowing heavily and lots of money will be coming your way and you'll be feeling successful. And at other points in your life, the river will be dry and you won't have as much bandwidth coming your way. It's about the flow through society and through each other. Underneath it all, it's representative of an energetic exchange. And if your energy is in alignment with the currency, then it will come to you. And I think that that's where you will hear a lot of successful artists say, just follow your passion and it'll all work out. Cynically, you could go, yeah, that's cool, it worked out for you, but that doesn't mean it's gonna work out for me. But their sentiment is correct. If your flow gets in alignment with the flow of currency, then there's a good potential that you will be rewarded for the energy that you put into your art. What you give to the world will be given back to you in time. I think the goal for everyone should be this balance of movement of currency, where your goal is to keep it moving, not to hoard massive amounts of currency and energy and protect it. We should all be aiming for this balance, where the currency that comes our way is fueling what we need to feel good and survive, but also it's moving through us, and it's not this thing that we're being greedy about. And I think that's another thing that's so cool about Cardano and cryptocurrencies. That's not one person. This is a massive global community of people making something together. I haven't really been hesitant about crypto. I think I've just been one of those people that has been watching the development unfold slowly over time since like the very beginning of Bitcoin. I feel good about releasing my work out into the world now, specifically because I'm so far removed from when I created it. My life now is completely different than my life was when I created this work. I don't have any expectations about what happens to it. I didn't create it with any expectations around it, and it feels like it's a good time for me to allow it to unfold in whatever way it will. I read somewhere that all of the cells in our whole body adds up to the energetic potential of like 5 atomic bombs. That's crazy to think. Just an individual person is so powerful that you could like blow up the whole world with the power inside of your cells. If you use yourself to do whatever it is you want to do, there's so much power in that. That is currency. When you create something, there's a part of you in your heart that wants a little love, little compliments or money, some like buttons or whatever, but you have to let go of the expectation of any return for the energy that you put out into the world. It's easy to say and it's easy to think that, but it's very hard to put everything you have into something and have it be okay for nothing to come back to you. It's a heartbreaking process. But if you can hold on to the feeling of you did what you needed to do for your own reasons and it felt good along the way, then you're not a failure. We tell ourselves that we're failures. We tell ourselves that we're not doing something right or we didn't get something right in return for what we did. But the truth is just being alive every day and surviving, then you're not failing, you're winning. All of life, just like art, is a process, and it's about the process. If you did anything at any point in your life that felt inspiring to you, it doesn't matter the outcome, you can't fail. If I look back at everything I've done, I could tell this story that I'm a failure because nothing ever came back to me. But I don't see it that way because I know that I did what I wanted to do and I created art that I wanted to create and I enjoyed the process along the way. Everyone does something with their life that is interesting and has value and is an expression of them. It's like their fingerprint on the universe. People are artists as chefs, and people are artists as writers, and people are artists as businessmen. Even running a business requires a huge amount of creativity. What you create in the world becomes its own thing that has value. Every person's story is a work of art. Underneath it all is there's value in being alive. So I'm an artist because I'm alive, and it's as simple as that.
describe yourself?
Well, I'm just a guy, and I like to create things.
Okay, tell me about your invention now.
Just water and toys and wood.
And what do you call it?
Ocean Mountain.
Why did you think of that?
Well, it was fun to make and it was long to do, but I made it.
Wow. Failed artist. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching the Failed Artist film. My filmmaker buddies and I put a lot of heart into it, and underneath it all we were hoping to just make something fun and inspiring, and hopefully you connected to it. And obviously in the film you see this artwork that I created almost a decade ago now, and it's finally out. We've got it minted, and the auction is going to start on March 11th, 2022 and end on March 21st, 2022. So right around the corner, and all of the information to how to bid and how to be a part of the auction is on the afailedartist.com website. And if you want to hit me up directly, I'm on Twitter. afailedartist is my handle. And I'm happy to talk to anyone. And most importantly, if you like the film, it was meant for you, and pick somebody in your life that could be inspired by it, send them the link, send them the movie, and let's try to spread around some inspiration for this year and put some love out there into the world, and celebrate ourselves as artists and celebrate each other and keep on moving forward. Thank you again. Really appreciate the support.